green, the ivy green, the prettiest picture you've ever seen. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home. It's nice, you know, to kiss your beau and cuddling under the mistletoe.
Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what time of the year it is here. Hey there, and welcome to a very special edition of the show. Why is it so special? Because Dan Nowitzki has finally released his much anticipated RejuvePlex topical. I'm John Christian, I'm your host. I am an editor of worldhairloss.org. I'm a forum pioneer of LLLT, and I'm a consumer advocate for hair loss. And you know me as Over Macho Grande. All right, let's get to it. Let's get Dan Nowitzki on the line here. Okay, Dan Nowitzki is one of the creators of the orthonutritional supplement line, and you know him as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. No, I'm just kidding. How you doing, Nidhogge?
I'm doing great, John. How about yourself?
All right, Nidhogge. So, why does the hair loss world need another topical?
Well, originally a few years ago, when I got into the hair loss forums, I saw that they're just, it seemed that every topical available, for the most part, was all about making money and exploiting people. And I saw that there's a lot of research out there for natural solutions that just wasn't being put into practice. So I originally approached Primordial Performance with an idea for a topical that would be all natural herbal extracts. And it never came to fruition due to the costs involved. So
that was hair gen or hair? No,
that's correct.
That is hair gen. That's hair gen. Okay, got it.
Hair gen. Yep.
Never came about. Okay.
Never came about because it was just an incredible amount of money. You're looking at about $28,000 to produce that, and so but it's always been the forefront of my mind to come out with something that would be developed by someone experiencing hair loss for hair loss. Right. Something that benefit me just as much as anybody else.
Right. Well, real quick, some topicals are considered to be DHT blockers. Some claim to do this and that. Some are regrowth stimulants. What would you say this topical does in a nutshell? How would you classify this topical?
This topical largely deals with inflammation mitigation, and ultimately, regardless of what role DHT has, DHT is just one of the many steps involved in reducing the size of the follicle so that the hair eventually falls out. So the very end part of it is inflammation, and that's what I feel that a topical is best suited to address. Okay. With internals, they could address the problem at the very internal level, but on the external level, you want to try to address inflammation. Because with inflammation addressed, just like with laser therapy, then it'll gradually reduce fallout as well.
All right. Well, I tell you what, let's get Immortal Hair on the horn here, and let's go into the ingredients of the topical. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's go all the way to Los Angeles. Let's go to Brian Simmonis. He is one of the leading orthomolecular researchers in the U.S., a hair loss consumer advocate, the founder of HealthyFix.com and the Natural Forum at ImmortalHair.org, and an all-around nice guy. We know him as Immortal Hair. Immortal, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, doing great. How about you guys?
All right, so we got both you and Dan up there, so hopefully everything's going to work together when we put it all together for the video. But hey, let's get started. The show must go on, and let's just talk about the ingredients of this RejuvePlex topical. The first one you have here is Nano-Silver, so let's go into that.
All right, well, Nano-Silver is essentially a natural disinfectant. It is an anti-parasitical, antifungal, and antibacterial. So what that means in terms of hair loss is that we have a lot of, I guess you could refer to them as Demodex mites that creep up from originally started around your eyelashes. They're called ocular mites originally, and they work their way up your forehead and into your scalp, and they nest in follicles and breed. And for those who are susceptible to inflammation as a result of overbreeding of these things. It can cause problems, like resulting in inflammation that in turn shrinks down the hair follicle, causes scarring damage, fibrosis, and bruising, eventually leading to a hair follicle that completely closes up and results in hair loss. And by integrating Nano-Silver, I feel that we're giving a natural disinfectant for the scalp at the right percentage. We're doing 50 particles per million,
right,
to help to, maybe not completely eliminate, but at least manage these colonies of bacteria and parasites.
Now, is one of the reasons why colloidal silver isn't being used in topicals right now is because of the size of the particle? Is it not able to get into the skin? Is that what's appealing about the Nano-Silver?
That has a lot to do with it. Colloidal silver particles are pretty large comparatively, and aren't nearly as effective. The smaller the particle, the better when it comes to this sort of thing.
Right.
And it just can't penetrate to the follicle the way that Nano-Silver can. Nano-Silver is a relatively new thing. It's only been around for a year or two, from what I understand. And it's just it's brought silver far. It's brought silver as a treatment for antibacterial infections of any sort, whether it's internal or external, farther along than it's ever been in the course of history.
All right, so Immortal, do you have anything to say about the Nano-Silver?
Yes, I do. The Nano-Silver is an effective antifungal, antibacterial agent. It also has been shown to increase the viability of stem cells. This is important for hair loss because the viability of a stem cell is going to determine how, what is the potential of the hair continuing to be immortal, for lack of a better word. You have a progeny cell in the stem cell. If the viability of that progeny cell is strong, you're going to literally allow for the hair to continue to renew itself. So the Nano-Silver may allow that to happen.
Right. Okay, well, let's go to the next ingredient, which, excuse my pronunciation if I get it wrong here, but marine Seakelp Bioferment.
Yep, that's right. And marine Seakelp Bioferment is used in the cosmetics industry as a relatively new natural ingredient. And it's derived from seaweed, Seakelp to be specific, and it's fermented with lactobacillus and a few other well-known microorganisms. They're the same microorganisms that convert milk to yogurt, actually. And this conversion process helps to essentially alter the composition of the cell contents within the Seakelp into compounds that your skin can both recognize and use to create new and healthier compounds within your own cell walls. Now, that essentially means an increase in collagen and a more youthful look for your skin. So we put 5% marine Seakelp Bioferment within the formula. Anything more, we're risking gelatinizing the formula, increasing the viscosity. It's a very gelatinous ingredient.
Right.
It's the only gelatinous ingredient.
So it'll leave a lot of hair residue if you increase that any more than that. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, Immortal, you got something to say about this?
Yes, I do. This actually comes from a very, very old discovery way back in the earlier part of the 19th century, where there's they call it the Quinton formulation, which is through a very special form of highly bioavailable minerals and complexes which facilitate certain physiologic reactions in the body that are truly phenomenal. There's a lot of research on this which has been only lately getting new attention again. So there's something actually much more special about this bioferment than it might appear that meets the eye.
Okay. All right. Ingredient number 3, Lumistor.
Well, Lumistor is actually an ingredient that Brian turned me on to, and it's actually an amino acid, L-hydroproxylene, and it's a primary constituent of collagen in the skin, connective tissue, and bones. And I think that he'd probably be better suited to discuss a little further, give a little more detail on that.
Lee, it's basically fermented hydroxyproline is another way of saying it. Being that it's fermented, it seems to essentially replenish or allow the body to essentially regenerate collagen more effectively. And once you hit about the age of 26 or 27, your ability to produce this is not as easy. In fact, hydroxyproline, especially fermented hydroxyproline, is one of the most powerful antioxidants. So it literally helps allow the skin to become more elastic. So it could be used as a cosmetic and beautifying agent.
Okay. All right. Well, the fourth ingredient now, I don't know how to pronounce this. Seveov?
Yep, you got it, man.
Okay.
Seveov. Seveov is the brand of maca that Naturex produces. And this was offered in a trial, a free trial, to Immortal hair members of the forum. And it was a somewhat of a failure because we were advised to use it as a, I think it was a 0.01%. The problem is that works for the concentrated powder form, but not the liquid form, because the liquid form has largely glycerin and water in it, so it actually had to be concentrated at 2% for the liquid form, which is what we use it at in this formula. The purpose of this is to increase collagen synthesis, integrin synthesis, and also mitigate inflammation as well. According to their studies, both include increasing integrin and collagen synthesis provides a boost to the cellular adhesion mechanism, which essentially helps to slow down and diminish signs of skin-related aging. So the inflammation helps. The inflammation helps to reduce actual hair loss. And as for other hair benefits, it found that an in vitro study has found that it stimulates hair growth by 93% as a result of these simultaneous actions. So the potential in vivo is not recorded yet, but it's there. And at the very least, it's going to be beneficial for skin aging.
Okay. Brian?
There's a lot of new research about integrins. In fact, so much so, it is absolutely essential for healthy hair growth. So the fact that the Seakelp is going to help with that is just is going to make maybe huge waves. This is really exciting stuff.
Okay. All right. The next one, Puresterol.
Alrighty. Puresterol is the brainchild of Dr. Sanford Schwartz.
Okay.
And Dr. Sanford Schwartz is an alternative medicine doctor. He moved from New York to Thailand in order to open up a company entirely focused on the herb Pureria mirifica. And he actually introduced Dr. Atkins to the whole alternative medicine lifestyle, which eventually led to the Atkins diet being developed. He served in the Army as well as an Army medic, and I've had the opportunity to speak with him, and he said that he would agree to an interview in the future, so we're going to get to hear more from him.
That's great.
But
yeah.
Essentially, Puresterol is a liquid extract of this herb, and the primary constituent of Pureria mirifica is myresterol.
Okay.
And this substance essentially assists not only in helping hair to maintain its natural color, but it's also been shown to halt hair loss, fight wrinkles, and reduce sagging skin. And this works by modulating estrogen receptors. And seeing as how this is more Brian's area, I'm going to let him take over now on that part.
Yeah.
Okay, this is almost identical to the human form of estriol, which is one of the most beneficial forms of estrogens. And as Dan just said, it's exceptional for allowing to retain the elasticity of skin, the integrity of collagen, and as far as hair loss is concerned, not only does it help in that area, but it's been strongly shown to be associated with robust bone growth. Anything that has to do with increasing the viability of bone growth has a huge connection to hair as well. So it all seems to be on a level of enhancing a specific area in the human body that seems to be in high supply in the young. But as you grow older, these has to do with specific types of estrogen receptors. They tend to diminish. So what this formula does is it kind of prolongs the sort of has a youth effect on the skin and the hair.
Okay, good. All right, copper TRI-PEPTIDE. Yeah, now there's a 1 after this. Is that a typo? Is it copper TRI-PEPTIDE 1?
It's not a typo. It's
okay,
the actual INCL name of the product is copper TRI-PEPTIDE 1. Not sure why, but not a chemist, but that's, it is what it is. And it's people have heard about copper peptides being used for potential treatment for hair loss for quite a few years now. That's nothing new to the hair loss
Almost
community.
everyone in the forums has tried copper peptides, so and to very underwhelming results, I must say. So
Very
and now,
underwhelming.
right, and there's a reason for that. So
Exactly.
and then you tell us the reason, and you tell us why this is different.
From what my research has shown, what folks were largely using over the years were forms of copper that just weren't the same forms used in studies to achieve these results. For example, copper gluconite, or just plain copper peptide. Now, copper TRI-PEPTIDE 1 is the actual, as far as I've been able to discern, is the actual form of copper that has been used in these various studies to achieve collagen synthesis, to achieve thickened hair density and whatnot. So I figured, if we're gonna put this in the formula, let's do it the right way. Let's see what sort of pricing we can work out. Turned out to be $27 a gram for this stuff. Yeah. It's not cheap. We put 0.1. Well, with this recent batch, we put 0.15% of the formula as copper tripeptides.
Right.
We were advised to put at least 0.1. So I'm sure once we order in larger amounts, get better discounts. But the point is, this is a real deal. I'm curious to see how this is going to actually work for people now that we know that this is in the right amount, that this is the right chemical combination. And as far as what copper tripeptides can supposedly do, it can gradually diminish scar tissue. It can drive down inflammation, which would in turn increase hair density and improve firmness and elasticity of skin. By a number of other factors, and we got in our write-up we gave a lot of information on that, and perhaps Brian has a little more to discuss in copper tripeptides, but that's kind of in a nutshell. Those are a few of the benefits.
Yeah.
Copper tripeptides are one way to invigorate a powerful enzyme that fights the superoxide radical, which is a very pernicious and powerful destroyer of nitric oxide. And so it helps create superoxide dismutase. And so that helps by, as I said, getting rid of some factors that are going to help. Superoxide dismutase not only breaks down nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a short-term chemical gas that increases vasoendothelial growth factor, which is something that helps create more blood flow to the scalp and create a angiogenesis or growth of new blood vessels to increase the blood supply to the skin and the scalp hair.
Okay. All right. Well, now this next one is apple stem cells, but I'm not going to pronounce that. So Nidhogge, go ahead and give the official pronunciation there. PhytoCellTec Malus Domestica, correct?
You got it.
PhytoCellTec
Malus Domestica. And this is one of the, we're using quite a few of their actives actually. Tri-K, produced by MyBell Biochemistry. MyBell Biochemistry is a company located in, I believe, Switzerland, that consists of maybe 2/3 PhDs. Yeah, they're just, it's a fantastic company. They blend modern science with nature. So they'll use liposomal preparations with herbal extracts, and in this case, the herbal extract is from a rare Swiss apple. And these stem cells are extracted and combined with a liposomal format so that it can absorb into the hair follicle and through the skin. So as far as what this could actually do for people, we have a number of benefits for both anti-aging and hair. As it pertains to hair, it's been found to significantly extend the growing phase, also known as the anagen phase of hair. And by putting off that hair from converting to a catagen state, which is the fallout state, It means that you're going to have more hair on your hair for a longer period, which results in less hair falling out and more hair on your heads.
Right.
On our heads. So basically, the longer the hair follicle stays alive, the longer their hair will get.
Right.
And Brian could probably add a little bit more into what it does for the skin and what benefits it optimizes there.
Apple stem cells is a really exciting product because this is something that might be able to regenerate the progenitor cell, or the progeny cell in the active stem cell in the skin. The more stem cells you have, the more hair you're going to produce. If those stem cells have a active progenitor cell, you're going to have the ability to continue to regenerate hair. So, because the big question that people often ask is, well, I've got a bald spot in this area or that area, or I have, really, really diffuse hair loss, or I have, just weak vellus hairs growing here. How can I get these hairs to increase their shaft diameter? The Apple stem cell product just might be able to do that.
Okay, great, good. All right, GSP-T.
GSP-T is another product from biochemistry. The only difference between that and the apple stem cells is that it's actually derived from grapes, specifically Swiss grape procyanids, and oil-soluble natural tocopherols. And tocopherols are found in vitamin E, typically. And usually those supplements have them synthetic and synthetic variations. These are derived naturally. So these help to protect our hair both from physical and chemical stresses, ranging from ultraviolet rays, chemicals, hair dryers, and so forth. And in addition to this, it offers both anti-inflammatory and anti-glycation properties. Now, what is glycation? Glycation contributes to skin aging and deterioration of existing collagen. And additionally, it'll protect dyed hair color from fading, and assists in maintaining our own natural hair color. The tocopherol side absorbs into the hair shaft, which will increase the health of the shaft and the conditioning effect of it, making it easier to style, and reducing the overall amount of damage from the environmental stresses and factors that contribute to damaged hair.
Right. Okay, well, now you have a liposomal form of topical coenzyme Q10. That would be Nano-Lipobelle. I don't know how you would pronounce that either. So.
You had it right.
Lipobelle?
DN CoQ10 OA.
Got it.
So, people typically take CoQ10 internally for cardiovascular benefits. However, this is the first I've ever seen it used topically for any sort of benefit. Now, CoQ10 plays a number of roles in the body, and this includes energy metabolism within our body's cells, the ability to scavenge free radicals, and as well as protection against signs of aging. So applying it topically actually stimulates collagen production and rejuvenates skin by stimulation of the actual mitochondrial activity within the cells. Now, how does this benefit the hair? Well, it re-energizes the hair follicles, and due to the liposomal nature of the mibelle biochemistry actives, it penetrates into the hair bulb, which may affect actual proliferation of the hair bulb growth. Now, that means potential regrowth, and that's huge. Yeah. So, and I don't know if Brian has anything to add with CoQ10.
There was, there's actually some news that came out a couple of years ago showing that CoQ10 is going to increase the anagen in the growth phase of the hair cycle, and anything that's going to help donate electrons to encourage the health of mitochondria, or basically the cell factory of energy production within the cell, that in itself is a regenerative process. So anything you're going to do to aid in the health of the mitochondrial health, or the energy of cellular metabolism, that's great for hair, because when it comes down to any degenerative process, whether it's hair loss or something else, adding electrons is really the key to getting a great something that's going to work. It's the spark plug, essentially.
Right, and this will actually add to what lasers do,
Yes,
as well.
Absolutely.
Well, now there's something very similar to it, the S100 PA. Now, what is that? That's the next ingredient we got here. So let's.
The Nano-Lipobelle S100 PA. I'm not exactly sure what they share aside from the same name.
Okay. So totally different thing, similar name. Got it. Yeah.
Exactly. But S100 PA is more geared. It's one of the rare actives that are more geared toward improving the quality and quantity of what you have. It's essentially a cationic liposome that contains large amounts of D-panthenol. D-panthenol is also known as provitamin B5, and it's commonly used in the cosmetical industry from what I've been able to discern. And this particular compound sticks out over the rest of the D-panthenol compounds used in this industry because it is both cationic and liposomal in nature. Now, D-panthenol is used because it increases skin moisturization, the elasticity and softness, and also serves as an anti-inflammatory and an agent to essentially soothe the skin. And by doing this, we could it kind of adds into the other anti-inflammatory compounds within this formula to diminish the potential hair loss. And one of the primary factors that you'll notice when applying RejuvePlex is that, at least in my case, inflammation and itching ends after applying it. And so I think this plays a huge role in contributing to that.
Yeah.
And Brian, I don't know if you're familiar with D-panthenol at all, but if you are, feel free to add whatever you can.
Well, actually, D-panthenol has been around for a long time, but it's good that you mentioned that this is a more special form. But I think what's really exciting that we haven't mentioned yet is that the liposomal formula, all these are encapsulated in liposomes, even if the specific ingredient isn't, they're all essentially in there, and this is going to radically improve the absorption of these topicals in through the skin. So much so that you don't have to worry about the penetration so much. So you don't have to go completely crazy trying to just massage this into your scalp. The liposomes are going to do a lot of that work for you. And the liposomes themselves are going to allow these actives to maintain their integrity right to where they need to go.
Right on. Okay, the next ingredient is, now help me with this, Epicalmin TCM?
Yep, Epicalmin TCM.
Okay.
It's this one really caught my eye when we were doing our research because it's a blend of traditional Eastern Chinese medicine with modern science, and you don't see that commonly today. Usually it's one or the other. So it's a blend of a few different herbs off the top of my head. I don't recall them. They're in the links for the write-up, but essentially they serve to rejuvenate and repair the skin. And one thing that we constantly have going on in the background is something called chronic inflammaging. And this is essentially a low-grade inflammation that our bodies consistently yet silently endure in the background. And this is a major cause of premature aging and hair loss as well. The two go hand in hand. If you have a topical out there that is marketed just for hair loss, but it's not used for something on the face, then that's a red flag in my opinion, because anything that's good for your face should be good for your hair and vice versa. So as far as how Epicalmin TCM combats this inflammaging, there's a number of pathways. It includes reinforcing the skin's self-protection mechanism against dehydration and oxidative stress that leads to free radical formation, along with degradation of the extracellular matrix. Additionally, keratinocytes MMP1, which stands for matrix meloproteinase 1, MMP3, and MMP9 are downregulated. This is another thing that our supplement Clonia Cava helps with. And one of the things that cigarette smoking actually upregulates, which is why folks age quicker when they smoke a lot of cigarettes in general. So by modulating these pathways in keratinocytes, overall inflammation is reduced, and as a result, we have better skin that ages better, healthier hair growth, and a reduction in hair loss. And I don't know, Brian, maybe you can give us a little more information on these keratinocytes, MMP1, MMP3, and MMP9, and the kind of role that they play in both aging and hair loss.
Well, you did such a great job, Dan. I don't know if I can really add much more to that. Extracellular matrix has these collagen degradating enzymes. And MMP3-1 is the stuff that basically causes the premature wrinkling. MMP3-9 is the stuff that basically destroys hair follicles. So the fact that these can be down-regulated is huge, and is going to allow the hair follicle to be more or less, not destroyed while you're having the factors in the formula. They're going to encourage the hair growth. So it's great to have that in there. That's an integral piece of the whole puzzle.
Good deal. Okay, now the last ingredient. I know there's been a lot of them. AquaCacteen. For one thing, I like that name. That's a very, very cool name.
Yeah, it really is. It's based on the prickly pear, which is similar to cactus. It's prickly, but it's derived from the prickly pear fruit. And when I was researching these ingredients with Brian, this caught my eye as well, and gave the manufacturer a call, and I said, well, I told them what our formula was about, what our goals were with it, and I said, knowing that, how would you describe AquaCacteen? And they said aloe on steroids, and that caught my ear, because aloe is a very potent anti-inflammatory. I've used it for all sorts of things throughout my life, grown my own plants. And it works.
What type of plants were you growing there, Nidhogge? I'm kidding, I'm joking.
Aloe, quote unquote. But I know the effectiveness of aloe when used topically and internally. So when I hear something that like aloe on steroids, that catches my ear. So decided to look into it. It was reasonably priced comparatively to some of the other actives, and a lot of it doesn't need to be used in the formula. I think we use 1.5%. And essentially this modulates both inflammation and mitigation, which reduces both skin aging and hair loss. And as mentioned, it's derived from the prickly pear fruit. So it's rich in flavonoids, vitamins, antioxidants, minerals, and phytic acid. And the way that it manages inflammation is by blocking the release of stress markers from sensory nerve cells in the skin, in addition to providing a large amount of hydration due to its high content of water-binding compounds that results in both a calming and soothing effect for inflamed and irritated skin. So, if Brian has anything to add, I don't know, are you familiar with phytic acid at all, or the benefits of that?
Well, I think you touched on something really, really interesting, and that has to do with the sensory nerve systems, and that has to do with the inflammatory neuropeptides. So this is kind of a nice thing to have in there, because you're going to help cool some of the factors. One of the most overlooked areas of hair loss, I think, is the stress factor. So if you are having a tough day at work, or have a relationship problem, whatever it is, and your brain, whatever active side of the brain, wherever the temporals are just going crazy, you're going to have these inflammatory neuropeptides, which are pain-like sensations, and they usually they're basically like hair loss on steroids. So if you can stop this process, it goes a long way as the overall treatment. So it's I'd say it's an essential component of the overall formula.
Well, good. Well, that sums up the topical, and it's basically an anti-inflammatory, hair rejuvenating, skin improving, and perhaps also a new hair growth stimulant with some of those ingredients as well. And I think we're going to look really forward to hearing what people have to say about this in terms of results. I'm using it. I've been using it for about 5 days now, maybe. So it'll be interesting. It's for sale now, right? The 2 bottles first. The 2. I think that's your mom in the background. But Nidhogge.
No.
Say hello to her. Bring her on. Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
But
anyway.
I do want to add.
Wait, 2-ounce bottles for sale now. You got 4-ounce.
It is 2-ounce bottles for sale.
4 ounces coming out soon enough. Yep.
We may do the 4-ounce depending on how long the 2-ounce lasts for people. If we find that it's lasting more than a month, around a month, then it may be adequate. It's a good price. the way it's priced right now too. So we'll see how people respond. And meanwhile, we're offering a few packages, one of which includes a discounted consultation with Brian, like 15% off. And I'm going to be honest, I've spoken with Brian, you know, on the phone multiple times, and everybody's hair loss situation is different, and health situation. If you're looking to clear up anything from GERD to you know, something you'd rather not discuss publicly, you know.
He knows it all.
Brian will be able to, you know, he'll be able to help you through it, and he'll give you email support after to follow up too.
Right.
It's well worth it.
Yep, so. Absolutely. I agree. All right. Well, we've done too few of these videos again, and that's partially my fault again, since I've got the all the equipment here. But we'll get to more of that. We still got that stress video coming out very soon, and. Well, anybody got anything else to say? What do you got planned for Christmas?
Well, got most of my shopping done, and I got a little more to go though. So I don't know about yourself. But, how about you, Brian?
Brian, we are going to start a charity fund. We're going to start a charity fund to buy some artwork to go back behind your bed right there. You know, I think I might send you a picture. I don't know what, maybe some galloping horses, I don't know, something nice, but anyway. Well, good guys, we'll get this video up and done, and we'll see you on the forums.
All right, John.
Okay, all right.
Nice having you.
And like I said, our next video will be on stress, and that will be done very soon. And this is Over Macho Grande saying good night and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
We just had a black cat walk by in the bed.
That's the black cat. Well, I think that's the black cat from the laser helmet instructions. So millions have seen him before. He's still ticking along. Just turned 15 a couple days ago. Wow. So he's a good guy. So, all right. See you later.
See you later.